My colored client said I couldn't do her makeup right because I was too black. Story time. Client was recommended to me by her sister. From that, we can establish that the sister is also colored. A big shout out to Swag for sponsoring today's video. This specific client booked me for hair, makeup. That's for the bride specifically, but for the rest of the bridal party, I was only supposed to do their makeup. So this means there are 5 bridesmaids and the bride. So altogether, this was a booking for 6 people. She paid her deposit. She booked me well over a month before her wedding. She booked me for these 6 people. So she was the 6th one as the bride. The bride was getting her hair done as well. A few days before her wedding, I think this was on a Thursday, her wedding was on a Saturday as usual, she texts me to say, "Hi, do you know I'm colored? I actually have colored bridesmaids as well. It's a family of coloreds. So would you happen to have our foundation shades?" She also sent me a picture of all the bridesmaids. I think there were cousins and sisters, so everyone was basically the same complexion, but she was not as light as her sister, whom I've been working with for a while. Like, I can almost say I'm her makeup artist, because every time she has somewhere to go, I'm the one who does her makeup. So I begin by appreciating to say, "Oh, thank you for the picture, thank you for letting me know, but I know her sister. She was recommended to me by her sister, so my assumption is she's colored as well." So I knew that detail, but I appreciated her for it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I do have your foundation shades," and I made mention to say, "I actually work with your sister so and so," and she was like, "Oh yeah, she's the one who told me about you." So my plan for this appointment is, since she's the only one getting her hair done, I plan to do her hair on the day of the appointment, and then I went to this appointment with my assistant so that we could manage the number. So I would be doing the skin work and foundation, and then my assistant would be doing like things like highlighting, those small details of the face bit, so that we could work faster. On the day of the appointment, she was supposed to get her hair as the bride and her makeup done by us, me and my assistant. The same day after she sends me pictures, she texts me again. That was like an hour later. She says, "No, I'm just worried. I'd like to see a picture of the foundations you're going to be using." So that was a bit off, and already this is sending red flags to me. Like, all my red flags are up at this point, because why do you want to see my foundations? So the only thing I said, I hope you've seen my prior work. So I don't send her the foundations, but I just tell her to see, "I hope you've seen the work I have done on your sister before, and that's how it's going to look for you. So if you have any worries, any specific requests like allergies and everything, you can let me know, but my foundations are safe." So she responds to say, "No, it's nothing to do with allergies or anything like that. It's just that I want to make sure that you have our correct foundations. I don't want to look as dark as you blacks here in Zambia." I was just like, "Oh, okay, maybe she's saying this because I'm fairly dark. I'm a dark person, so maybe she thinks I only have the foundation I use on myself. But then, I have done your sister's makeup before. Where are we going with this?" So she says, "No, why are you being insecure? Remember, all I asked her is, can you let me know maybe if you have allergies, my foundation is safe." So she goes like, "Why are you being insecure? Is it so hard to send me pictures of the foundations?" So all this is going on in our chats. She sent me a message, I responded to her on a message. So I asked her to say, "Are you confident of my craft? If you're not, please do go ahead and book with someone else." That's what I tell her. So she says, "No, and don't even think of cancelling on me, because you're the only makeup artist I've booked with, and Saturday is a fully booked day for most people, so I'm just saying." So I also tell her to say, "I think you're being a bit too much for me to handle, and I don't like stressful appointments. So if you feel there's any doubts you're having that I can't clear up because you feel my skin tone is too dark to work with you, please do book with someone else who you feel is closer to your skin tone and going to be comfortable enough that they work on your skin tone, because this is my complexion. I can't do anything about it. If I'm a makeup artist, obviously I have different shades of foundation, and I have worked with someone colored before who's your sister. So if you have any issues, you can also ask her. She can tell you if she thinks I can manage this booking or not." So she goes like, no, you're just being difficult. Why are you being insecure with your own skin tone? You should be happy in your own skin and all these things. So I'm like, I'm not being insecure. This is just very disrespectful, because if I'm a makeup artist, I have your shade. And also, I understand that not everyone is going to have shades for colored people, but the fact that I have worked with someone colored, I have your shade. She's your sister. You can easily call her and ask her if she feels I'll manage this appointment. If not, you can still book with someone else. Remember, this is like Thursday, or is it Friday? Yeah. So she calls me, and then the person on the line introduces themselves as her chief bridesmaid. So the chief bridesmaid goes like, no, I'm sorry for what she's saying to you, because I'm here with her in the car. I think they were running errands for the wedding, and she's been telling me about your back and forth. I'm sorry that she's being a bit difficult, but please don't cancel on us. So when she says that, when the bridesmaid says that, I'm just like, oh, anyway, it's typical of brides to be stressed. So in the background, she goes like, no, I just don't see any problem with asking you about foundation tones, but you guys are just being too difficult. So I tell her, you know what? Let me send back your deposit. Kindly book with someone else. So I send her the money. Just after that, while actually was still on the call, I started making the transaction. By the time the call was done, her money was with her. So she calls me to say, what's this money you're sending? So I just cut the call on her. I don't respond. So I send her a message telling her how I was displeased with how she was talking to me, the things she was saying, and everything else. I felt there was some sort of colorism going on, in my opinion. So a few minutes later, I receive an Airtel Money notification. And the name is that cousin that I spoke to on the phone when she called me to apologize for the bride's behavior. So the money I receive is the exact same amount that I had just sent back. So I assume she's trying to rebook or still secure the slot. So I receive a message from a strange number, which is the same number that sent me the money on Airtel Money, saying, no, it's me again. Please don't cancel on us. We really love your work. We've seen our cousins' makeup when you've done it. The few times that she's attended events with us, her makeup always looked better than ours. So please don't cancel. Or at least if the bride is being difficult, do our makeup as the bridesmaids. So at this point, my temper is rising, but the cousin is being so nice, and to be fair, she's innocent in all this. So I say, okay, cool. I'll see, I can work with you guys. But then if the bride is going to continue being difficult, please don't count her as part of this appointment. So she tells me, I'll make sure she doesn't contact you. I'll make sure she doesn't bother you, but please don't cancel. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll show up. So we don't say anything to each other until it's Saturday, the day of the event. So just a little backstory. Every time a client books, I make sure I send a copy of my policy. In my policy, there's a specific clause that says that if a client or their child, especially the fact that babies are not allowed during appointment, ends up breaking something, the client that's responsible for that baby will have to pay for it. So this policy was sent to the bride when she was just booking, initially before all the drama. Keep that in mind. Saturday comes, the bride texts me and she sends me the location for the apartment where they're staying, where I have to show up. I pick up my PA and we start heading to the appointment. Everything is fine. I'm actually shocked that the bride was being very nice when she sent the location. She just said, good morning, this is the location, we're ready and waiting for you. So in my head, I'm like, oh, she probably realizes what she was saying was a bit mean and she's not going to be a better person. So I'm actually happy now that the mood of this whole appointment has changed and we're going to work just fine. So me and my PA get there, and I think that's the security that opens the door for us, the gate rather. We go in, we set up, and we start with the appointment. When the bride sees me, she says, oh, I'm glad you've actually come. I'm just shocked that your nails are not done. At this point, I have nothing to say. I'm just like, when I have hair appointments, which I do most of the time, I avoid doing my nails because it makes me work slower. So she was like, oh no, I just thought it's more professional to have your nails done. I just go like, because what am I supposed to say to that comment? She also goes further to say, oh, you're actually very pretty for a dark girl. You guys are pretty. Prettier than the average that I see. So I don't know if this is a compliment, because this is passive aggressive at this point. So at this point, I'm getting pissed off, but then I'm already here, I'm trying to be nice. And also, as a side note, the lady that recommended her to me, her older sister, is not part of this appointment. She's actually not here. I just hear an older lady, I think that was her matron, that's my assumption. She goes like, let's say her name is Lena. Lena, please be nicer. That's all she says. So she responds in Bemba and she goes like, like, oh, I was just saying. So at this point, I'm even very shocked that she can speak Bemba, because she was seeming too abroad, if you get what I mean, for her to even know Bemba that much. So I'm like, maybe this was her first time seeing a black girl. I don't know. So it shocks me that she's even knows Bemba, meaning she's from Zambia, and majority of the people she's seeing are probably my skin complexion. Maybe a bit lighter, but I can't say I'm the darkest person you can come across. We start with the appointment. I'm working and everything is fine. So suddenly there's a small baby boy who wakes up and he comes running to the bride. At this point, I'm working on the bride. I'm doing her hair. So he comes running to the bride. I assume she's the mother. Yeah. He comes running to the bride and he sits on her laps. So I have no problem with it. I'm doing her hair. I'm just focusing on me. I didn't want to talk much because I was getting so pissed off. Eventually, the baby drops down. You know how babies are, and he wants to start playing. So, but I have a problem with that, because what he wants to start playing with are my products. So I tell the bride to say, could you please have someone handle the baby so that he moves away from my workstation? He's going to break some of these things. So the bride says, no, he won't break. He knows that they break. And then she just like cautions the baby, baby, don't break, okay? But then, okay, let's just all be logical. The baby obviously won't understand. When I turn back, I notice the baby has my Fenty foundation in his hands. Guys, my heart is racing. How much is Fenty foundation? Go to Color Cafe. Like, that thing is not cheap. So I tell the mother, like, this foundation is going to break. It's in a glass. Please get it from him, because I didn't want to be aggressive. That's a baby, and I believe the baby doesn't know what he's doing. The mother should be, I don't know, putting him in his place or something. So I tell her, please take care of him. She goes like, no, he's not going to break. Please don't worry. Continue with the appointment. We're going to run late. When I notice all this, I tell my assistant to get the foundation from him. As she's trying to get it from him, remember I was doing the bride's hair and makeup. So I had a hot comb that was still on the floor. Because I mean, everyone is an adult. I didn't think anyone would step on it until the baby came. And it wasn't on my mind like there was a hot comb down. So as he was running, as my assistant was trying to get it from him, you know how babies think you're playing games and you try to get something from them? He started running and stepped on the hot comb. Then he fell. So I'm sure we all know what has happened to the foundation at this point. It's broken. And this foundation was new. It was brand new. And we know the price of this foundation. At least those who know. It's expensive. So I tell her, I told you about this. Now it's broken. Like, I'm just shocked. I stand with my hands in my waist because I'm powerless at this point. Like, why did I come here? So she goes like, Sunny, you've seen what you've done. Auntie is going to beat you. You know that I'm just irritated at this point. So I'm like, unfortunately, you have to replace this because this is what the policy said. So she goes like, no, me, I didn't even see that. Which policy? So I open my WhatsApp. This is why I do all my bookings via messages so that I can keep everything. So I opened my WhatsApp and show her the policy. So she was like, oh no, so what happens? Because I didn't read that part. So I'm like, unfortunately, negligence can't be the excuse in this situation. If you didn't read, it's on you. Well, the whole appointment at this point is at a standstill because everyone is just, like shocked at everything that's going on. So no one is working. My assistant is just looking, and I'm sure she's so shocked because she's always talking about how I'm too nice, I'm too quiet. So I'm sure she's also very shocked, but she's not saying anything because I mean, it's just shocking for everyone. So the bride eventually agrees to say, okay, fine, I'll pay for it. You know, that kind of a thing. So I'm like, okay, cool. Since she agrees, she's going to pay for it. So after she agrees to buy it, I'm like, okay, cool. We proceed with the appointment. So the appointment proceeds, and I'm finally done with the bride. I can start working on other people, as the PA is also working on other people. So one lady wearing a robe, just like the other the other bridesmaids rather, walks in. She has a lot of cystic acne on her face. Like, I'm talking about a pimple on another pimple, and her face looks very swollen. So I suspect someone was trying to tamper with her acne. So because it's very swollen, we all know what happens when you pop a pimple. So there's pus coming out. She has blood on her face. The scene is not good. So in my head, I'm like, I'm sure she understands the skin condition and that you can't put makeup on top of open sores and all that. It's just not healthy for your skin. So the bride says, oh, she's next. So I'm like, yikes. At this point, I'm panicking and praying that she changes her mind, because what she was going through seemed like she needed to go to a dermatologist or have herself checked at the hospital, just something. And there was so much blood. That's not safe for my products. Like, my brushes are going to be on your face. I know I sanitize in between clients, but that was way too much. Like, the blood was still, some blood was dry, some blood was still dripping. Like, the pimple was still just from being popped, and there were a lot. So her face is covered. So she says, oh no, let me quickly wipe off the blood, I'm coming. So she goes to wipe it off, but blood just doesn't stop coming out immediately you wipe off. And your wounds are obviously still open, or should I say your pimples? I don't know what term to use in this case. They're still open. So she says, oh, let me quickly wipe it off, I'm coming back. And she's the sweetest girl on earth. Like, I feel so bad. I don't know what to tell her. When she says this, I try to use this as an excuse not to start her makeup at that point. So my thought is, okay, let me have her go that side. Let me start working on someone else, so that most people will be out, and then I would have a conversation with her saying I can't do her makeup because her skin condition is not in the best place. So I didn't plan on telling her you're going to contaminate my products or anything like that. That would have been very mean. But I just wanted people to leave, at least. Like, people maybe should get busy with dressing up, and the work area, the place we were given to work from, would be more free, so that I could have a conversation with her. So when she comes back, she says, no, unfortunately, you have to get my makeup done now, because I'm part of the people doing decor, so you have to stop with the girl you're working on. Please do it now, because I have to leave. So in my head, I'm like, this is putting me in a very awkward situation. I don't know how to tell her what I want to tell her. I can't say, excuse me, like, where am I going to talk to her from? Because I've just been invited to this place. I don't know where I can go, where it's more private. Other people are dressing up, others are playing music. It's just a basic wedding day, like what you would expect in a room where people are getting ready. So I just get close to her. Like, I tell her to sit in the chair. I get close to her. I explain everything to her. So the bride comes to ask her something as I'm explaining to her about her makeup and skin and why I can't do it. So I tell her, no, unfortunately, makeup can't be done on skin that's open while you still have wounds. It's not safe for you. It could probably make the situation worse. So maybe you could just do your skincare and go for the wedding. When your skin gets better, we can now start working on your makeup. That's obviously in the future. So I tell her that. So as the bride comes, she's approaching and she can hear us because I'm talking to her still. The bride wanted to ask her something, I think. So the bride asked me, like, no, what do you mean you can't do her makeup? This is what I meant. Like, I was even doubting if you black girls could have makeup for us coloreds. Everyone does her makeup. Why would you fail to do her makeup? So the matron hears this because she's screaming. The matron hears this and then goes like, no, but I told you, she's talking to the bride, I told you we should leave her out, meaning the girl who's in my seat, the one with cystic acne. I told you we should leave her out. It's not being mean or anything, but her face, it doesn't seem safe to do makeup on. So I tell her, I agree with what your matron is saying. I don't think it's safe to do her makeup right now. at least not in the state that her skin is. Let us let her heal. She can still look good just with her skincare. I can do maybe like a simple lippy on her, but a full face of makeup is not safe for her. So the bride says, no, you're just being unprofessional. What do you mean? And you're being very disrespectful and you're discriminating her. Remember, the girl is just very quiet. She's this very sweet girl. So I say, no, I wouldn't like to make my clients feel like I'm discriminating them. I'm not. This is just the truth. Like, I would say this to anyone else. I even gave her an example saying, I recently broke out. Because of those reasons, I also couldn't do my makeup anymore. I had to wait for my skin to heal so that I could do makeup on myself. It's not safe to do makeup while your skin is not in the best condition. So she says, no, you know what? You're just making noise here. Can you start packing up your things and go? So I tell her, we're still working. At this point, my PA is working on the last person. So I tell her, we're still working. What do you mean we should go? So she tells my PA saying, can you start packing? So I tell my PA like, okay, fine. If you want us to leave, we'll start packing. So we do start packing actually. So then I remind her to say, you need to pay for the foundation that your son broke. So she goes like, no, why would I even pay for any of your services? Remember, all she paid was a booking deposit. Why would I pay for any of your services? You're discriminating. I'll report you. Do you know who I am? So I tell her, I'm not discriminating at any point. I turned to the girl that I was talking to. I tell her, if you felt discriminated, I really apologize. I'm just explaining to you what even a dermatologist would tell you. So as I'm explaining to the bridesmaids that I hope I didn't offend you, she picks up her phone and I see her calling someone, but I'm not paying attention to that because I'm talking to this bridesmaid. So I see her picking up her phone and then she's talking to someone, and all I hear is, this girl is causing commotion, please come pick her up. A few minutes later, the door opens, and it's the security guard that opened for us in the beginning when we had just arrived. So he tells me, please ma'am, I don't want to disrespect you, please pack up and leave the premises because noise is not allowed here. He's talking to me very nicely. So I tell him, yeah, I will leave, but I need to get my money. So I tell him to say, no, he's not interested in all this, but I tell him to say, she broke my foundation, her son broke my foundation, and the whole appointment has been a bit disrespectful, so I need her to pay me for the foundation she broke and the services I have provided, even if it only means to the number of people that I have provided the service. So I even tell the bride to say, it's fine, for this lady's security deposit, I will refund it because I have rejected the service, but for all the other services I have provided and for the foundation you have broken, please pay me back. She goes like, no, I can't pay you. You're just coming here with all your nonsense. I don't know why black people are like this. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, sis, we're all black. You're just colored-ish. So she goes like, I don't know why black people behave like this. People of your skin tone have an issue. This is why I prefer working with people who are a bit lighter or just look like me. So I tell her, you know what? There was a point where I even wanted to send back your deposit. But someone else, your bridesmaid, texted me saying, no, we should continue. And if you wanted to book with someone else, why didn't you? Why did you let me do the work? So it becomes commotion. So she tells the security like, aren't you listening? I've told you to take her out. So he carries all my stuff violently, my train case. I think he's scared of her. I assume maybe she owns the place because she seemed to have some sort of authority. She picked my train case. My train case has a specific way it's supposed to sit in. You're not supposed to bend it. Otherwise, all the products in it are going to spill out. It's like a wardrobe, like a moving wardrobe. So he picks it up, it's bending over, he's moving it around, he gets my ring lights, all my toners, my hot combs, and then he just puts them by the door side and then says, please leave. So my assistant picks up the rest of the things that he didn't manage to get, and then after that, I'm walking to the door and I'm like, I will leave because he's pulling me as well at this point. He's literally holding me here and telling me, please leave. So I tell him, please let go of me. I will leave. I'm not refusing to leave. I have nothing else left to do here. I will leave, but let me just get my money. So she goes like, I'll send it. So the guy goes like, you've heard her say she'll send it. Please leave. He holds me by my my arm, and then he literally drags me out. And he's holding me so painfully, like I can't do anything. At this point, we're attracting so much attention. Everyone in the room is just shocked at what's happening. Because remember, when I was talking to the other bridesmaid, I was using a low voice. So people didn't really hear me say or reject doing her makeup. So people are just shocked, like, what's going on? Everyone is just watching, like, shocked. Other people at this point are even taking videos of this whole drama. So when I notice people are capturing, I don't like to see myself in such. I decide to leave. Immediately I reach the door, like the door of my car. I'm about to enter, park my stuff. We pack my things with my PA. At this point, we are both shocked to even say anything to each other. We pack our stuff, we're in the car, and we're about to head out. I say, you know what, before we leave, let me call her to send the money. Since now we're not in the same vicinity with her, probably there won't be any shouting. So I call her, and then she just says, I'm sending. So I cut the call. We start moving, because I'm like, maybe she will send. But I was having a bad feeling about all this. We start moving. I drive out. When we get to my location, it was like, my ETA at the time I started driving was about 20 minutes. I get to where I was going, and then I try to call her again. Guess what? She has blocked me. I tried to text her on WhatsApp. I can't see her DP. I can't see her last scene. She has blocked me. I tried to tell her cousin. Her cousin says, honestly, I'm not shocked. This is her behavior, but I'll try to see if I can get you her money. I'm waiting. The day is going. I assume at this point her event has started. My money isn't in yet. And till now, I have never gotten back my money for the 5 people that I worked on, except the one bridesmaid that I didn't work on. I have never gotten my money. She blocked me everywhere. Was I wrong for refusing to do her makeup, the bridesmaid that had cystic acne? There was blood on her face. Some blood was dry, there was some pus. It just didn't look good. Was I wrong for that? And also, she hasn't paid me for my foundation. Like, what type of a client can you be? Guys, let's do better.